November. It's hard to believe, but it's actually November. It's been yonkers conkers since I last did a video. I think it was possibly, it's over a month ago. Various reasons, none of which was stand up in court. But yes, it's now November. We're heading towards Christmas. Don't mention that word. And it has taken a little turn colder. It's taken a turn for the cold. That's not a sentence, but there you go. And which is why I'm standing at the other end of the plot, not just to confuse you, but I'm actually at the top end of the allotment today because the sun is over there and I'm blue and freezing. And who would do this? My nose gets really cold more than anything else. And so I look like I've constantly got a cold because I'm always doing that. But yeah, I thought I'd stand in the sun to be a bit warmer, but to be honest, it's just as cold as it is down there. Not really a lot to show you. As I'm sure you can imagine, things have been and gone. It's that time of year now where everything's sort of entering dormancy, and if I was really organised, it would all be prepared and ready for planting up next spring, but I'm not, and so I'm just going to show you where we're up to. Okay, so I'll have a little look around. Okay. Basically, the greenhouse is being used as a huge drying rack at the moment with all the beans, and I mean, if you can see here, these ballottis were just taking an age. Oh no, they're not the, there we go. The ballottis were just taking an age to dry on the plant. So yeah, starting to worry about them getting a little bit manky, about the stems, the pods getting manky. So brought them all in, and they're drying really well. And I don't know if you can hear that now. You probably can't. Let's see if we can get a better one. Oh no, now I can't get any rattlies. There, can you hear that? That's brilliant. That means they're all drying really, really well in there. And yeah, they feel ready to pod. But what's been a revelation to me, and I don't know why I haven't even thought of this before, but these are the runner beans. And we weren't necessarily going to plant runner beans this year, but a neighbour gave us some plants. We put them in. You know what it's like, you have the first few and they're really nice, then you start packing the freezer, then they start to go a bit over. So what I've done, and I know a lot of other people do this, but it's new to me, is just let them basically come to maturity on the plants. And I'm going to try and do this with one hand. And then let them dry, and I'm using them, not very well, using them for, come on bean pod. Here we go, can you see that? I'm splitting, it might all fall out and fall down the bench. Look at those. Look at those absolutely beautiful beans. So I'm using those, yeah, just like any other bean, like kidney beans or anything, soaking them overnight, giving them a really good boil, and then just adding them to things, and they're so tasty. You know, there we go, that's what I didn't want to happen. I'm wondering why we haven't done it before. I know most countries do, in Europe they do, but just look at the colour on that. Let's see if we can get that in the sun. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, so that's a little treasure. It's a lesson learned. If we do grow runner beans next year, I'll certainly be saving, at least half of them for the beans. Brilliant. Here's the thing, look at this. What do you think of my raised bed? It was already a bit raised, and now I've raised it even more. Look at it. It's perfectly straight. Let me just show you this corner. I'm going to try and zoom. Oh, you'll love this. Yeah, can you see? Can you see? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be zooming in on this. Not as straight as you might imagine, but you know what? Once that's full of soil and compost and leaf mould and strawberries, you're not going to notice whether the edges are straight or not, are you? I hope not. This was the potato bed last year. So next year that's going to be all the beans, and so it's just had a rough digging over, and I'm just going to leave it like that now over winter. If we can get our hands on some manure, we're going to put that over the top, but it's quite clumpy. I mean, it's nice soil, but I haven't bothered fine-tuning it. I've just sort of left it in rough clumps. And over the winter, the weather will do its business. Oh, it's got windy now, talking about the weather. Yeah, and that'll be ready to dress and plant it with beans in the spring. What we've got here, we've got the last of our beetroot. They look in a bit of a sorry state actually, but this is where the sweet corn was. So they've all come up between the sweet corn, and as we've pulled the sweet corn out, this is what we've been left with. Quite a few got stood on, to be honest, but the sweet corn that we put up in the other bed this year, the open bed, all the tops were eaten by mice or rats or whatever. So actually these ones have been protected by the sweet corn. So I am going to dig the rest of those out today and think about how I'm going to store them. Now you'll have to forgive me, I haven't got my little mic thing on, and I know a lot of you will say don't bother digging them up, just leave them in the ground, but I want to get these out now. I'm so impatient, honestly. So it's perfect. I mean, that's only small, but I would rather take, let me just turn it around, I would rather take that home now at that beautiful small sweet size than risk half of it disappearing into a little mouse's mouth. Okay, so let's make a little stash. Oh, it's a nice job to get done. Soil's getting progressively muddy as well. You see, this one's got already. Look, word's got round. Look. That is what is happening. Can you see in there? Yeah, I don't know if that's any better. That is what is happening to the beetroots if we leave them in. So yeah, time for them to come out. There we go. They look a bit of a motley crew there, but we'll get them washed and see what we've got to take home. I think I've mentioned them before, but those trees, sorry, I've got an apple in my hand, there we go. Those, oh, I tried being. Those trees, there's a conifer and I'm not quite sure what that one is, but they cast so much shadow on our plot that I have asked the council if there's any chance that we can have them reduced or even removed. But if you think the sun goes, let's see, the sun goes across that way, so once it hits there, especially when they're in full leaf, that really overshadows our allotment there. So I think they're going to wait until there might be fewer birds or something to do with the nesting season, and they're going to try and reduce those for us, which will be fantastic. I do feel very sorry for the birds, but there are lots of other trees around that they can have. I'm hoping though that they don't take these ones out at the back, because I do love these, and they are a bit of a settling place for pigeons and rooks and things like that, which you come and eat your veg, but they're so pretty. Anyway, so we will see what time will bring, and hopefully have a little bit more sunshine on the plot. And here we've got the garlic patch for next year. Solent white, or if you like me and you run out of room, it's more of a, let's see, Solent wig. Okay, but I know it's Solent white and that's what matters. So yeah, basically this is where, what was there last year? Let me think. Sweet corn was at the top. I think we had onions in there actually. But basically I've cleared the land. Was it onions? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I've cleared it all. I've got Solent White. It's the first time I've bought anything from the garlic farm, and I've been really impressed actually by the quality of their bulbs. There's about, I bought 4 bulbs of garlic, and in there, oh, there must have been 12 or more per bulb. 12 or more cloves per bulb. In there must be about 50. Not all huge, but some really good size ones. I know the bigger the clove, the bigger the garlic you're going to get, but they all looked really healthy, so they're in, and I've actually got a few left over. I've yet to put my elephant garlic in, but what I want to do today, these have been in a couple of weeks now, and hopefully anytime soon they're going to start coming up. You can see the weeds have started coming up already, but before any birds get to them, or before I forget and the rotten onion leaf mine or whatever it is gets into it, I am going to, what are you going to do, Jane? I'm going to cover it with some, I think it's Enviromesh I've got, so I'm going to do that now.
Lettuce, that's what was here, it was lettuce, not onions.
Now, I've literally just taken this off the brassicas, and yes, it's disgraceful. I should really take it home and wash it. Is that what you do with Enviromesh? Look at the state of it. But you know what? It's only going to get dirty again, so I think it'll do. You know what? That's going to have to do for now, because oh my, I'm going to have to find some more, what do you call them, hooks, which are in the shed. But you get the general idea, and at least now I can go home and think, my garlic is safe, which of course I'm sure keeps you all awake at night. But yeah, it's safe for now, or at least it will be when I've got it all finished. So that's a good job done. Pleased with that. Okay, I think you can see me now. I apologise because once again I haven't got my didgeridoo on, my little mic thing, because this time the battery's gone flat, and that just shows how long it is since it was up and running last. So what I've said I was only going to do a few bits and pieces today. You've seen the state of the greenhouse full of all those bean pods. So I'm taking a whole load home. I'm taking the runner beans. I think they were Scarlet Emperor that we were given from a friend. And I'm going to pod them at home because they are proper rattly. I can hear it. Proper rattly now. Oh, the sun's coming out. Oh, that's nice. And also these little teeny tiny ones. Those ones. Oh, which ones? These ones. Which are the haricot beans. I think they're called haricot beans. They were from the French beans, from that Voile Écosse, which I'm probably saying wrong, but they're these tiny, I don't want to take them all out, tiny white beans, which don't look much, but rehydrated and added to anything. We did a chicken cassoulet, very posh, basically chicken and bean stew with these the other day, and they were so tasty. They sort of, there's one, they sort of absorb the other flavours, so there's loads of garlic in there, and really good. Speaking of which, I've been boring people, to be honest, about how much, it's just, sorry, I'm being distracted, I can't show you, but I'm going to have to show you. The sun on the sprouts is beautiful. They're not all sprouts, sadly, but I'm just going to show you. Oh, there goes my bucket of water. Look at this. Look at this, can you see those? Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I wish they were all sprouts. It's that beautiful, beautiful light. Anyway, let's try and put you back. Hopefully you'll click back into place to where you were. Right. This is so professional. Okay, here we go. You've got to, the sad thing is I've got to try and cross my legs in a ladylike manner now. Anyway, that was the sprouts. A little bit of extra depth to the film there.
yeah, I've been boring everyone with how last week, for example, I don't think I went to the shops once for any vegetables whatsoever, and it meant that not only was I using food that I knew had been grown locally, that's organic. It's getting windy, I really hope you can hear me, but I'm eating seasonal stuff. I'm eating stuff that we are supposed to be eating at this time of year. So yes, okay, you know, I still like a pineapple and I can't grow that for toffee, but that's just a really bad example. I'm digging stuff up out the ground that for years and years and years should be, you know, being dug up at this time of year in this climate. So, cack-handed way of saying I'm eating well there, but yeah, everything. It's made me experiment with food more. The fact we've got the same ingredients doesn't mean we're having the same food every night. We had chicken casserole, as I mentioned. We had a borlotti bean mole. Have you ever heard of that? It's a borlotti bean, like a borlotti bean stew, but you add at the last minute. It's like a slow cook thing, and at the last minute you put chocolate in, dark chocolate. That is fantastic. Didn't grow the chocolate, but really good. Roast veg, pumpkin soup, all sorts. Anyway, enough of that. Not a lot going on down here. We're not ones, don't really have a lot growing over winter. We've got a few cabbages left. We've got carrots and parsnips to come up. I've got the beetroot here. I'm wondering whether to clean it while I'm talking, because you know what I'm like, I'll just go off. I might chop the tops off. And we're taking the beans back, and then it's going to be left to its own devices really over winter. I have got to move the raspberries. I've lost my scissors. Found my scissors. I have got to move the raspberries, I've got to prune the fruit, and basically have a bit of a tidy up, but yeah. What a nice time of year though. I keep taking we've got like our back room, our utility room you could call it at home, which has just got a couple of shelves filled with stuff that I keep delighting in showing people and saying, come and look at our squash, because they're all sitting there looking really proud, and some people just don't get it, which I can understand. It's odd, but yeah, I'm trying to do this at the same time. I can't do it. I'll just be distracted. Like I say though, very often earlier in the season we'd have eaten those leaves, but now they're going a bit so shan't. But yeah, still loving it. As I've just mentioned, the light, I don't know if you can see it coming in there, it's beautiful. Haven't got a towel, but I have got legs. But this made me smile. We went out for a meal. Mike and I went out for a meal the other night, and we'd not been to this place before, and the food was okay, but they were very generous with their serving suggestion stroke garnish, in that we were both presented with a meal with a huge, I'm not kidding about that big, what's that? Well, let's say 6 inches, 6 or 7 inch sprig of rosemary, okay? Just cast across the top of the plate. And so I think this shows the difference between whether you're a desperate gardener or not. The one herb that I've not had any success with growing, and just purely my fault because I put them in the wrong place, is rosemary. So immediately I just thought, great, we're going to take that, let's take that home, and we'll try and strike it because we've got a few good cuttings there. So yeah, we wrapped it up in a napkin and stole it out the restaurant. The funny thing was, the waitress who'd served us also came to collect our plates, and you could see her then going and talking to another member of staff, and they were discussing what was on our plates, which was nothing, and I think they couldn't work out what had happened to the rosemary. We could have put them out their misery and told them, but we decided not to. So they'll forever be puzzled about the couple who went in and ate 2 6-foot stems of rosemary. But would anyone else do that? Would you do that? I don't know. Anyway, this isn't getting me beetroot done. What else to tell you? Had a bonfire. We did have a little bonfire just in one of those, it's over there, one of those dustbinny things, which was just basically all the load of dead leaves, dead stems. Could have gone on the compost, really should have gone on the compost, but to be honest, our composting this year, I'm going to try this again, our composting this year has been really neglected. We just haven't bothered. And we're reaping the lack of reward from that now, because it's a time where I want to sort of top up the beds and we've got nothing. So next year we've got to make more of an effort with that. That's not working. So yeah, apart from that, not a lot to tell you. Looking forward to the next growing season. Things that haven't done well this year, I'm not washing them now, you can see, can't I? Next growing season we are going to make sure that our leeks are okay, because that's been our, sorry it's got really windy, that's been our disaster this year, the leeks. And we had loads of them as well, all grown from seed. We had about 50 and they all had to go because of the leaf miner. Was it the leaf miner? Yeah, it was. So that was heartbreaking, but every year there's something. Last year it was the onions and the garlic as well, so this year at least we've had a really good onion harvest. Haven't done brilliantly with potatoes, but then we didn't really grow any main crop. We did a few, but that's something we're going to have to start buying again from the shops, but that's not too bad. Carrots have done well, raspberries, brilliant. But yeah, lots of stuff to think about next year. I am going to grow the runners again, but for the seeds this time. Someone's recommended that I try Gigantus, which comes up with a beautiful big seed that I know some of you grow. I think Vivi on Vivi's Kitchen Garden. Oh, look at that, you think it's okay? I'll keep that one. She grows them and you get beautiful, huge beans, like big butter beans. Maybe only about 2 a pod, but maybe worth doing, nice and meaty. So yeah, gonna look into those sort of things, but it's been a good year. Really enjoyed it. I think another thing I need to remember next year is always have some spare batteries. Hear that now? It's not worth talking. Always have some spare batteries in the shed so you can do your didgeridoo. Okay, and I'm going to leave it there. It's been an odd one today. That time of year. But I hope you're all well. I hope you've enjoyed your harvest. And if you're just starting with allotment, oh, you've got some fun and games ahead. And who knows, the next time I'll be down, well, I'll be down here doing lots of bits and bobs, but I'm not sure when there'll be another video out. Hopefully before Christmas. It's getting windy again. The wind is basically saying, shut up, Jane, you're talking too much again. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now. So yeah, hope you're well, happy gardening, happy harvesting, and hopefully see you soon.